Welcome to TCB, a place for pure learning. I'm going to talk about IRCA registration process now briefly for your benefit. IRCA was established in 1984 in UK as a division of Chartered Quality Institute, which was at the time known as Institute of Quality Assurance. Chartered Quality Institute is the oldest professional body in auditor certification with a history of almost a century. Now, if you have observed, IRCA was established in 1984, where the ISO 9000 standard was introduced in 1987. So the question is, why then IRCA certification scheme was developed before even ISO standard came into existence? It's an interesting question. In fact, if you know, ISO 9000 standard was adopted from its predecessor BS 5750, which was the first quality management standard in the world, which was established as a British standard. So UK industries had an experience of using that standard, and they have gone through the initial teething problem that how difficult it was to implement the standard and audit that standard. So there was a need felt to develop a scheme for auditors, how the auditors will be trained, how the auditors can interpret the standard, and how the auditors can assess conformity to that standard. Therefore, that certification scheme was developed, and it was the first certification scheme for the auditors in the world. I sometimes feel, had IRCA not developed this certification scheme, I believe ISO itself would not have achieved its intended purpose and objective. So IRCA needs a big round of applause for their contribution to the quality world. Coming back to their registration scheme. So the first requirement is that the auditor must complete an IRCA approved lead auditor course. And that auditor course has to be presented by an IRCA approved training partner. Now, IRCA themselves do not conduct any training. IRCA has approved training partners. For example, TCB is one such training partner. And we have got quality management and occupational health and safety management auditor programs approved by IRCA. So we can present those training. You have to complete successfully one such program to apply for registration in IRCA as an auditor. There are certain educational requirements, which is basically high school graduate is minimum requirement, and working experience is minimum 4 years working experience you need to have, out of which 2 years sector specific. So if you're applying for quality management, it is expected that you have 2 years of quality related experience. Or for example, occupational health and safety lead auditor program, you need to have 2 years of work related experience. Once you have successfully completed the lead auditor course, you are eligible to apply in the first grade of IRCA approved auditors. Now, IRCA has got 4 auditor grades. The first grade is associate auditor. The second grade is auditor. Third grade, lead auditor. Fourth grade, principal auditor. Now, with the training that you get and the competence that is developed during the training, you would be eligible to join as an associate auditor. Once an auditor has working experience, is engaged in auditing, after completion of this training program, if you are involved in auditing and gain 20 man-days of audit experience and 5 audit experience, both the conditions have to fulfill. For example, 5 audits, 20 man-days, and out of these 20 man-days, 15 man-days must be on-site. So that's all you need for auditor qualification. 20 man-days, out of which 15 man-days on-site, successful completion of lead auditor training, and minimum 12 standard qualification, and 4 years working experience. Now, if you gain more experience and perform audits as a team leader, you need to have 3 audits as team leader, which is 15 more days of audit, out of which 10 man days on site, which totals about 35 man days of total audit, and 15 plus 10, 25 man days on site audit. You are qualified to be, you are eligible to apply for lead auditor position. Now, lead auditor grade is the highest grade for the auditors in IRCA. There is one more grade called principal auditor. Now, the principal auditors are those who are not getting chance to audit as a regular auditor. Those are getting chance in certification body or other organizations, but they're auditing as consultants and developing management system, and their experience is great. And this needs to be recognized, that can be recognized by IRCA. So IRCA came up with the scheme of principal auditor to recognize those experienced people. So the principal auditor grade is equivalent to lead auditor grade, but their access route is different. So this is basically the 4 grades we've talked about. IRCA demands very high standard of code of ethics. Auditor must disclose their relationship with the certified client. They cannot take any expensive gift or which can be kind of inducement, which are like professional expectations. You have to work in a way that upholds the reputation of IRC and the certification body, and do not do anything that can undermine the reputation of IRC or the certified client or even the certification body. At the same time, if there is any alleged breach of code of conduct, you have to cooperate fully with IRCA in the investigation process. So that is briefly the process of IRCA registration. If you have got any question, you can always contact TCB, and we'll be more than happy to support you. I strongly recommend you join IRC as a global recognition of an auditor, and this would add a lot of professional value in your career. So I strongly recommend you to join. One of the most important thing that I would like to mention, we have a policy. If any of our candidates score above 90% in the examination, we sponsor their initial certification fees for IRCA. So join our course. I'll be more than happy to see you in our program, and it would be fantastic learning. So that's all for now. I hope this presentation was of some useful information to you. Feel free to contact me for anything that you need to know about ISO. My personal email address is msr@tr-cbl.com. Thank you. See you. Till then, goodbye.